Video 2, down a rabbit hole in the HP 8660. Found a much better, much faster way to get these many little 2.2 at 20 volt tantalums off these boards. The first board, many of them were clenched. On the rest of the boards, they don't tend to be. So they'll just lift out of the board. But there's a way to do this without having to flip the board over repeatedly, which just increases the chance for damage. And the thing is I'm going to kink the solder backwards because I'm right-handed. But to get that component lead out, put that real fine surface mount tip under there, flow a little extra solder on there for better heat transfer, get that whole thing hot, and just, it's going to make a monkey out of me. Okay, after dropping the world on you, heat that joint up and just lift that component out. That one came out kind of hard. I probably shouldn't have done that. Make sure you get those little solder bits. And that lead was clinched under a little bit, so I shouldn't have done that. There's a risk of pulling the plated through hole out. But the thing is to put extra solder on the joint to increase the coupling, the heat between the iron and the capacitor. And it just fell out of the hole. Garden variety. 2.2. 2.2 at 20. Not rocket science. Here's a new one. 2.2 at 25. Better capacitor. But the trick is to install it without having to get to both sides of the board or take the solder out of the hole, because that means just much more heat on that board. So I bent the ends of the leads over like that. And I'll sneak the soldering iron in here if I can do it without dropping the phone again. And I'll heat that pad. Nope, needs a little more solder. It isn't cooperating. Needs more fillet. More cowbell. I had to turn the capacitor around backwards because the positive was on the wrong side. But heat that solder and just put that lead through. And then take the other one over. You can see the lead isn't bent at quite the right angle. So tip that. A little more solder. Not enough there. That's enough. And having a hard time reaching it. The camera's in the way. I don't solder well right-handed. There. Down through the board, press it over. Pressing it over with the larger body capacitors caused a problem between these boards. As you can see, the body of the capacitor in some places is touching the pins on the ICs on the other side, and if there's enough force there, that could chip through the conformal coating and cause a short and cause a disaster. So I'm going to cut cardboard spacers and drop them down in. But doing this takes a tremendous amount. I'm able to do 5 or 6 capacitors in the time it was taken to do one, with less chance of damaging anything. That doesn't make very pretty joints on the back side of the board. See how the solder's mushroomed there? We just go along and just reheat them, and sometimes you'll see air burp out of the hole. That one didn't go through. That one did. That one did. So I'll go check the one that didn't go through. Put some of the lead link through it.